Hey everybody, it's Michael. Thanks for joining us. We're down here at the Broadway Makers Marketplace at 57th and 8th in the Turnstile Underground Market. We have a new series for you called Theater Talk with Industry Professionals that we're launching today. And I've got Annie Brown here, who I'm going to turn it over and let her talk to you about this new series.
Hello, my name is Annie Brown. I am a director and playwright and writer and actress myself. I started theater when I was itty-bitty and absolutely fell in love with it, and it has come all the way here. I began this piece a few months ago and kind of wanted to write about my past experience in New York City. Back in February, I was a part of a short play festival that really introduced me to working in New York and what that was like, and it gave me that first taste of it. But while I was here, I kind of got stuck on the fact that I really wanted to find something to write about, and something that I thought was worth writing about and worth taking that time of being in the city with the ambiance and everything. And this is a little time capsule of that entire piece. So enjoy snapshots of my wonderful cast.
Not saying you're going to fail, just even if you fail, you're so still loving the shit. Oh shit, it's a great experience. Gotta go. Playing as a cat, right? You're gonna like send pictures. It's like so cool. I just wanted to say that you've never made it. It's like, what's I saw you on Austin, that's so serious. I mean, you've only been there 30 hours. What else are you working on? We're all expecting you to write another play.
See that girl in the chair right there with the pretty teeth? Take a look at how she walks and moves and speaks. Not a care in that look that's in her eyes. It's like she's calm yet terrified. What I need for something to write about and see a once in a lifetime thing that's for something to write about and see my own reflection or something to learn or say to make me feel just a bit okay. As my reflection is fading, then time just fades away, and I'm left with snapshots. Snapshots of the days they bring to life. And I don't know if writing this will tell the right story, but it's fine, it's right, it's right, it's fine. I just need another line. Just think. Further this way right there, a girl with an open house. Notice how she sits there with a frothy book. Something in her looks like it has died, but can't tell if it's her or just the hook. Cause I need more, something to know about and see a type of geekish thing that's for something to write about. Style, reflection, or someone who's stay and make us feel just a bit okay. Cause my reflection is fading and time just slips away. And I'm left with snapshots of the life they're living. Snapshots of the days they bring to life. And I don't know if writing this will tell the right story, but it's fine, it's right, it's right, it's fine, it's fine. something to bring to life. And I don't know if right story, but it's fine, it's right, it's right, it's fine. It's fine, it's right, it's right, it's fine. It's fine, it's right, it's right, it's fine. I just need another. Yeah, sure. See, I just want something to write about. See, I just want something to see. Because I'm only 19 and there's so much of me I want to share but I'll never see. Because there's always someone out there, someone one step ahead of me. And in a city of 8,800,000 people, why would I be the one to somehow manage to write something that's remained unsung? And I know that it's possible, and I know I'll find it somewhere, and I know that all I have to do is care. Why don't you care? Instead of screwing it up, just care.
That would be enough.
Why don't you care? Instead of messing the whole thing up, just care. Care. Okay, there was a little girl in a coffee shop, middle-aged girl. I mean, she was dressed really clean. Nice, cool, whatever. She had this kind of doubt when she moved about, like this somehow sort of fear of being seen. But she wants more, something to feel inside to make her feel like her soul's not dying. Yes, Lord, something to make her cry.
Way to reuse old melodies.
Sure, something to learn and see in someone who's not at all like me. And we're somehow back where we started. Shit. Hey, it's me, one of your badass intuitive thoughts here to tell you that you're absolutely killing it. You're not. I mean, come on. You're in New York City, the Big Apple. Just for a week. And you're sitting in one of those cute-ass little coffee shops, which is surprisingly busy for 1 a.m. on a Monday. Hey, what can we say? We ain't Missouri anymore. Exactly. Inspiration is all around you, so it's now or never. Right? Right, or you'll regret it. You really will, and do you want that on your shoulders? There was a businessman in a coffee shop with the whole suit and tie. He could be a spy. Whoa. What gives you the right to write about a businessman? Well, I mean, you were the one who told me to write. Yeah, about something that you actually know about. I mean, come on, May. You're a little 19-year-old musical theater major from Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Are you sure you're up for this? What do you know about running a business? First of all, whoa. Second of all, I've done plenty of business events. Well, and that's why you're a theater major, right? I mean, come on. He's a real businessman. He, manages something. Maybe a Crate and Barrel or a 7-Eleven. But, hey, at least it's something. I think I do or something. Maybe. I don't know. My point's proven. Are you sure you're up for this? Yeah. Are you really, though? Why don't you 1,000 people. Why do I feel so alone? How in a city that never sleeps do I find myself on my own? And they said it was possible, and they told me I'd find it somewhere. And I cared, but it got me nowhere. Something right, a once in a lifetime thing. Something right and see my own reflection. Once there was a girl in a coffee shop. Somebody let write a play, and despite her fear of everybody reading it and her doubt that the story should even be shared, she sat down and she began to write. And the story she decided to share was her own.
Great, let's go ahead and bring them up and
Yeah, totally.
yeah. You guys want to switch real quick?
Yeah.
And I'll take those and give these. So, for those of you that are tuning in or just checking in, this is Annie Brown. She's a 19-year-old playwright here in New York from Oklahoma, and take one of those. Got one, great. And these here for you guys. And we've got Kit Cerniglia and we've got Joshua Turchin here.
Oh no, I'm gonna.
Yep.
Okay.
How about that? Maybe switch mics. Here.
Hello?
Better?
Yeah, there we go.
No.
Okay, can I switch? Okay, thank you. There we go. Hello? Yep. Alright.
Sorry, let's do that. Hold on.
I think it's the mic that's. Close. It's been close. Hello? Yeah. Okay.
So let's start with Ken and Josh. First of all, welcome. Thank you for being here. Annie, do you want to say anything about the piece, or you want to say anything afterwards? You have it's yours. I'll let you do it. This is your thing.
Sure. And I mentioned this a little bit before, but for those of you tuning in, that was a bit of a time capsule that I created just out of the total fear that I was stuck in the last 5 minutes here. And the fear that you go through as a writer, and I'm sure most writers go through at least a little bit, of just like the general writer's block, as well as I was raised with the mentality that, not raised, but like it's the world, you know? That if you care enough about something, then like it'll work out. And if something's not going wrong, if you're not caring enough and stuff like that. And sometimes it's a lot more complex than that. So I kind of wanted to highlight that as well as kind of highlight that experience. And I wrote it to submit to this festival exclusively because the festival is actually New York City themed. But I also wrote it with kind of the mentality of if this goes absolutely nowhere, it's a piece that I'll always have as a little, like I said, time capsule, as a moment to kind of reflect, a souvenir that like is so unique to just that. You know?
So it's like your tick-tick-boom.
Oh yeah. But that's a bit about the piece.
So, thoughts on as a young playwright, if you were adjudicating this festival, or you thoughts on what would be feedback and things that you'd give her based off of this piece?
Well, I usually engage with questions. So this piece was written under assignment, essentially, and a little bit of pressure.
Yeah.
Right, so I think like every writer, no matter what they're doing, goes through that. You know, like what am I going to write? The blank white page, you know, and a computer screen, and also that, you know, self-doubt, like, who am I to write anything ever, or, you know, say something definitive. But then also, like, why this medium, you know, and where we have imagination, and where we, you know, create characters, create, this is what we do this, in any kind of fiction, right? You're imagining into an experience that's not your own. Otherwise, you just do autobiographical all the time. You can only write your own thing. So it's this interesting thing you're engaging with, like this, to imagine writing about a businessman, and then be like, what do I know about the businessman? And what do I know about myself? Am I that interesting yet at this point in my life? So it all rang really true. I'm curious to know, like, once you did a draft, and then started rehearsing it with your company, like, what did you learn that you didn't know before? Because in theater, we're collaborating too, and we're always getting feedback before we even have an audience.
Yeah, totally. I, as a playwright, am learning kind of that whole process of workshopping. And this whole process, actually, with them, they got the script and the score like a little over a month ago. So it was a big like rehearsal and workshopping process kind of all in one. And it's definitely interesting. These are all people that I go to school in Missouri, and I'm actually from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And these are all people I went to high school with or did theater with in high school. So it's kind of like a bit of a reunion of sorts. So it's nice that I worked with them before. But like, it was definitely interesting to kind of work with that. And most of them haven't worked on new works before, so kind of getting to introduce that process as well as I try to navigate it myself. It's definitely been interesting. Also, I workshopped as a writer as well as directed it, which is quite a bit to take on, but it's definitely been fun, and a lot to learn through it about management and how to structure rehearsals to where I can do it as a director and a writer, and one doesn't take over.
Yeah, it's hard. We have many hats because, of course, like directing the whole job itself and writing, and you know when you're doing it, that writer director by yourself, you can have a singular vision because it's all coming through what you wrote and then how you see it on stage. The drawback, of course, is you're missing potential collaboration. To get out with someone and interpretation in that negotiation process. But what was the biggest surprise that you had from what you sort of wrote out on paper or recorded? I don't know how you compose music, but when you gave it to these old friends, when you got your hand, very talented, by the way. You know, what was the biggest thing that changed in your sort of workshop and rehearsal process? Where you're like, I didn't know that before, I'm going to do this. Or you did not have time, you're like, just do whatever.
Yeah, oh my goodness, my vision of the show is probably the biggest thing that has changed. Obviously, my music composition history, I started learning how to like play piano in the very basics over quarantine. I took my first music theory class my senior year of high school. So I know the bare minimum, and I've just been musical my whole life, so it's kind of playing by ear and playing with what you know. But putting music onto sheet music and then recording demos of just myself with all of it for submission and all this different stuff, and then hearing it live is totally different. And hearing those different pieces blend together and hearing that both changes the entire score and what I wanted it to be. You know, the things that were cut and added and all of that changed so drastically. But also, like I said, the vision of the entire piece, hearing kind of the uniqueness and the moments that were added to the music rehearsals. As a director and as a playwright, I added things to the script and the score as well as
And are you planning on making this like an entire full-length musical eventually, if it gets, if it does well in the festival?
You know, I've thought about it, but I genuinely think, like, as a 13-year piece, I love it just how it is, and I think it hits I wanted it to hit. But I think as a snapshot, part of the fun, as a snapshot, I think it should be continued because I love how interesting it is.
I get the name snapshot because it's a small look at your life, but it's a temporary look. So I do really want to know though how eventually, if there's a follow-up, how things work out for the character before the show, because it's such an endearing concept. And I do want to know more about it.
Yeah, my goodness. Well, like we kind of mentioned this, and this is another thing that like talking about more of the writing process and all of that. I started it like in the exact coffee shop. It's literally listed in my script. The exact coffee shop. It's been the Nuno Cafe down in Tribeca. I hope I pronounced all of that right. I'm not from here, but that was the exact moment that I was like, this is the moment I'm living in. I feel like I'm gonna remember this moment sitting at this table for the rest of my life. And then like I started like full and stuff like everything home. But then sitting in like a practice room at my school, beyond that point, sitting and dealing with that writer's block there, and then trying to write about it was so unique and so fun. So like beyond that point, since it's like a bit of an autobiographical character, I feel like the best place that would be next for her is where I'm sitting right now. Everything that has happened beyond that point, it's just never ends, you know.
As intrigued thematically, I think it's poignant, or what I inferred from the presentation, was this idea that also what kind of judgments we make on very little information when we see someone sort of walking by, and the stories that we invent. That may be great for the fiction that you write, but you really know. And so I'm curious about her, like, how well does she know of New York City? I mean, does she just know the census information of 8,800,000 people? Like, how confident is she in this? And like, where on her journey does she have that realization moment that maybe I don't know where the top I can? Right? Like, sort of, what is that discovery process? I know there's sort of voices of self-doubt in our head, but what's the, where do you go, even in 13 minutes, on this journey from, like, where she starts to where she finishes?
Yeah, totally.
As a play.
Yeah. I feel like she wants to know everything about everybody. That's like, once again, going back to the autobiographical thing about it, is I try to find little bits of myself in everything around me, and I will see like a napkin on the floor, and I'll be like, what is that napkin? Was this whole thing? And then right brain, it goes into a whole thing. But I feel like oh my goodness, she wants to know everything about everybody, but then she reaches the point where she can only know so much about every single thing around her. And without knowing the story, how can she write something that's true, or that feels real? Which is something we all struggle with a little bit. But she goes kind of further into that, and then realizes after her total low points of finally just feeling so alone and not knowing what to do, to realizing that emptiness and that moment, that feeling is enough feeling to write something, emotion, if you will.
What I got from and I'm missing a little bit, maybe there's more in the staging, but I was super intrigued by your vocal arrangements and the sort of snapography. Like, what is that? Like, I was just imagining, like, are these other voices in my head? Are these people in the coffee shop? Like, what's happening?
Oh my goodness, it's been so fun to stage that aspect. So everybody's in the coffee shop, and I guess it is a little tricky to get in kind of this bit of setting. All of the percussion is done, all of the chest little taps are actually coffee cup lids, and we have coffee cups and some fun props that we get to work with as well. But we also have purple glasses that signify when they are her inner thoughts, and her truth thoughts, or her inner doubts, or all of that kind of stuff. She also wears glasses in the piece. So we've kind of gotten to work and experiment with separating things in that way. It's been really fun. But it bounces back and forth quite a bit.
But did you just present the whole piece to us?
Yeah, yeah.
But in that, then there's the people in the coffee shop who are like what she's really seeing, and then there's what she's imagining, or how they're bringing that to life, which is inherently theatrical and fantastic. Way to go about that.
There's a musical that the idea for the show kind of reminded me of 35 millimeters. And the concept of the musical is basically someone took a bunch of photos and wrote about it. So this is sort of like you stop time for a second. That's how I'm sort of imagining it. As if in the musical, time suddenly stopped for a second. You're seeing this character figure out something, you figure out a backstory of each character while also dealing with their intrusive thoughts. I think it's really interesting.
And is this all one reflective moment, or does time jump?
It's actually this is mentioned like once in it, but it's supposed to capture the chaos of New York City. It's actually like in that particular cafe at like 1 a.m. and just kind of capturing the fact that nothing's ever empty and there's always something happening in the city, which was fun to write about. But it happens kind of throughout that period, probably approximately real time of that kind of chaos and that kind of overwhelming feeling of not quite knowing what to do or where you are in a city that's unfamiliar, but also trying to enjoy and capture and make the most out of this. So a bit in real time, but obviously it has its moments where she is kind of probably feeling a little bit more on her own, and some of the world around her where almost everything else doesn't make sense.
So after going through this process of writing a musical about writing a musical, do you have an idea of a different idea from when you started of what you might want to write next?
Oh my goodness, I always have so many ideas. The ideas are always, I have like sketchbooks full of outlines of like, I want to do this one day, and then it's deciding on an idea out of the 150 ideas I have. But yeah, I love to write about real emotions and real feelings and people's stories and highlighting that, and getting to do that. Hopefully not about this trip now, it just won't just keep going.
Are you getting a sense as you continue to write of like what starts to distinguish your voice as a human, as a writer? Are you starting to, you have so many ideas for shows, but are you starting to identify which are the ones that you have to write?
Yes, totally. I am actually, I love looking out and getting to meet new people online and parents and stuff. And the amount of playwrights from my home state, my hometown, are pretty limited, actually. And it's been joyous to get to meet some of them. We have no really big festivals or anything and stuff like that. So I wanted to share stories of my home state and some things that have happened historically as well as kind of the of it. As well as, of course, there's always stories out there that will not get seen. And I love listening to podcasts and hearing other people's stories and just meeting new people, kind of see the other perspectives of the world. I think it's so important to do this as well.
And one of my questions is, when you're writing, doing music, composition, writing a play, who are some of your biggest influences when it comes to that?
Oh my goodness. Music-wise, William Finn is like, anything William Finn, I will always just like be on the floor crying. And that kind of, that pace of the music and the fun but like seriousness of each piece, like Sebring is so wonderful. Same goes for David Lair. Oh my goodness, the heart that he puts into each of his pieces is so powerful and so lovely.
Have you seen Kimberly Akimbo?
I don't know.
It's off Broadway at Atlantic, but it's coming to Broadway.
Oh my goodness.
This fall. It's fantastic. I saw it was a straight play originally, and now it's a musical.
Any story from the music?
I think so.
A reason
I definitely from the music, I definitely got some story vibes.
Yeah, they collaborated, I think, first on Shrek.
Yeah.
And they started getting more into musical theater.
Yeah,
But I was like a really good lyricist.
Yeah, Fun Home.
I'm so for that.
So in our last few minutes, are there questions that you have of them? Are there questions that you have as performers of Annie as the playwright? Is there, like, we've only got a few minutes left, so let's open it up to the floor and anyone. I put it in the chats. See if anyone chimes in. I'll let you know if anyone from home chimes in. But questions and things like that.
Would you like to guys share anything about your experience and your?
Or maybe you have questions for Ken and Josh as a dramaturg and as a composer and writer.
What was the moment decided that this is what you wanted to do?
For me, there wasn't exactly like a moment. I've been writing music ever since I was like 5 or 6 years old, and over time I started realizing, oh, this is a lot of fun. I love doing this, and I guess actually there was a moment when I was 10. I went, this is what I want to do, and that's when I started writing my first musical,
Which is?
The Perfect Fit. Ta-da! Yeah, that's sort of what about you.
I have a few. I don't know if my vocation came so early. I was certainly drawn to singing. I was in a children's choir at church, and we did plays, and then I performed a bit in high school, but it was really in college when I started studying theater. It was just like a bunch of fireworks went off in my head, and I was initially a psychology major with a theater minor, but by the time I finished my PhD as a theater major, I ended up going to graduate school in theater, and then finding my specialty in dramaturgy. But I think it was that going to the theater and becoming like an active theater goer, and like just that moment of excitement every time the lights go down, of like anything can happen, and I want to be a part of it.
Another question for you, if you don't mind. Now that I've talked about my biggest obstacles, what do you think is your biggest obstacle?
Writer's block.
Yeah.
Writer's block is probably one of the worst things that can happen, because your heart is saying, right, but your brain is going, no. And one of the hardest things about overcoming it is that you have to not be afraid to mess up a lot. Because when you're writing about writer's block, you just need to write, and it may not be good, but writing will reopen the door for you to actually start writing again.
Yeah, I think anyone who gives the most solid advice about writing is moving away from the idea that you have to be inspired to write to more of a practice of writing. But you can't call yourself a writer. I think Shonda Rhimes says, TV creator, she's like, you can't call yourself a writer unless you write every day. But there's just that practice that it comes to like, what do I have to write, or what inspires me, that sort of aim for authenticity, but there's also craft. And you have to keep improving your craft, practicing the craft, and the more you practice writing, the more your brain starts to think and make connections. It will also have somewhere to put them, whether you bring them into words, music, no matter the medium. But to work through that, and if you have a day like nothing's coming, you just sit there and you put words together, and something at some point something will come together, and you can have a whole day of writing that you just throw out, and that's okay.
And there have been times where I've just sat in front of the keyboard and gone, just, why are my hands not writing what I need to do? It does, unfortunately, at least for me, it takes a little time, but just try to get back into the groove of writing. But it's really just trying not to be afraid of writing something bad, because even if it is bad, you're still writing.
Yeah, the first draft or the rough draft, I've had it for a reason. There are more to come. And I find it the hardest to get through any first draft, and to right through to the end and then go back. I'm much more confident in my editing abilities than my initial generation abilities. But sometimes the first draft can be good. But you don't have any drafts unless you start writing.
That's another thing I've actually learned, and I've talked to so many people from home, so many people at school my age, and also experienced as a writer, but I found that the biggest obstacle that there is not like people telling you that you can't do it or all this different stuff, it's just sitting at that computer, or however you write, typewriter, people prefer that, or pen and paper, and sitting there and just suddenly realizing that like everything that you write is terrible. And it's just like getting those words off the paper and really, committing to it and just going back later and doubting yourself, just flying with it at that moment. I think might be the best. So
We've got like 2 minutes left, so you want to talk about collaborations or anything real quick, and then plug what everybody's working on and where we can find you and your festival at?
Yeah. For me with collaboration, I often collaborate with writers. I usually write alone, but collaboration is one of the ways in which I'm able to grow as a writer because I'm able to see other people's writing styles and be able to adapt to them because that's one of the biggest things you have to do. Because I know for various projects you will be like paired up with someone, and you have to be able to not only collaborate but be able to write, know that the other person may not like it.
My question is it the lyrics or the music that come first?
Oh no. The music always comes first, at least for me, because unless there's a super strong lyric I have, the music definitely influences the contents of the song.
So what happens if you're hired in to do a project? Let's say Annie came to you and wanted to work with you, partner with you, collaborate with you, and it's her lyrics, but she's now just bringing you in because she's adamant about these things. How does that process work between two people like that?
Okay, so if depending on which one of us does like music and lyrics, if I was doing music, I would ask, hey, what is the main feeling of the song you want? What are the things you want to accomplish in the song? And the overall vibe of the song. Any songs that you want to sound like a similar style. And after doing that, I would sit down with the writer. It could take a while to do this, but just sit down and start playing the piano and start writing the music as they come up with lyrics. So that way, it's a constant back and forth process. Like, hey, do you, how about this melody? Sure, I think the lyrics to this. I don't really like that lyric. Can you change it a tiny bit? Sure, it's a very back and forth project, but eventually a song is produced successfully.
Is there any other questions from the crowd out here? Anything you want to ask? Anything of Annie? Anything?
They know everything.
Go.
So you guys might not know, but I assistant directed with Annie for our college show Ordinary Days. I think y'all should ask her what it was like directing without an assistant director. She did it all by herself.
Oh yeah, what is it like directing by yourself?
Oh my goodness, it is a task, especially as you mentioned. We just directed Ordinary Days. That's another thing. Act One is my favorite human on the planet. People always be just Ordinary Days, and that's kind of like movies that I absolutely love. But we were able to direct that as an assistant director, and going from that experience to not having an assistant director and having multiple hats on, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm like so like jealous of my past self right now. I'm missing that. So it's definitely been interesting. It's definitely been a learning experience of collaboration and how important that is.
So let's go through into what projects you're working on, what you've got coming up, songs that you've just released, and we'll end it on those notes, and we'll end with you and where to see the show.
I wrote The Perfect Fit musical. It was on Broadway when I was 12. It was released as an album by Broadway Records in 2020 and produced an entirely virtually, which was really cool. I write and post all stuff on TikTok, including my Luca-inspired musical. I released a lot of my songs on my Spotify and Apple Music, including Doesn't Make You Feel Better and Anxiety, which just released. We're doing music videos to that, and they're coming out soon. Yeah.
And Ken?
It's nice to like be busy now. I've just been dramaturging a new adaptation of Romeo and Juliet at the California Shakespeare Theater in the East Bay, and it's called Romeo and Juliet. Romeo is a girl, and it's bilingual and set in 1848 Alta California, and it's been getting really good reviews, and I'm really excited about it. And next steps for that. We just booked a concert of Atlantis, a musical I co-wrote that premiered in 2019 at Virginia Rep. We're going to be doing that in Green Room 42 on October 2nd.
Is this breaking news?
Yeah, I think it's posted now.
Okay.
It's a score by Matthew Robinson, and a book by myself and Matthew and Scott Morris, directed by Kristen Hangy. And so we're really excited about that and taking that project forward because we have a new draft into our last production. And I guess other things in the works, but those are the big ones right now.
So Annie, tell us about your show one more time and tell us where we can find it at and all that good stuff.
Broadway Lovely, welcome. This was Snapshots. A musical in 13 minutes for a full title for you. We are at the Players Theater Play and Musical Festival this weekend, and we run, opening night is tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at 7 p.m. and Sunday at 3. And we are along with 5 other short plays that are all being showcased together. So you can come out and grab a whole evening or afternoon of some wonderful new works.
Great. Fantastic. Well, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for kicking off our theater talk.
Yeah, that was so fun.
Congratulations, and great play.